Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's new render. We will be doing a brand new image this week, and as you probably already saw in the thumbnail, we are going to be jumping into doing a somewhat horror scare. I just heard the refrigerator. I was like, what the heck was that sound? It kind of scared me for a second. Anyways, we're going to be jumping into a brand new render this week, and it's going to be the Bates Mansion, as you could see inside of the thumbnail, and we're going to be getting started with that today. We are going to be in Blender 4.0. I've kind of updated. There's a couple plugins that I need to install. So let me know if there's any technical issues as far as sound goes, because again, you know, that's the one thing that I can't really check before I get started on these things. But I'm going to show you the render we're doing. Now, this was a suggestion from our Discord, so if you guys want to suggest any images, some renders that you guys would like to see us do in the future, join our Discord. Link is in the description. I also posted in the comments, so go ahead and check it out there. If you guys have any suggestions on renders that you would like to see happen, please suggest those. I don't know, last week I think my audio was dropping out randomly and then like coming back in, so if that happens again, just let me know. I try to fix that as much as possible. And without further ado, let me pull up the render of which we will be doing today. So this is the render right here. It's going to be kind of a Bates Mansion, kind of like looking up at the angle here. I really like this camera angle, and like this is obviously the Bates Mansion that we will be recreating today inside of Blender from scratch. And then I kind of want to do it with this kind of lighting though, like this like very atmospheric, creepy kind of render is what we'll be going for. Hello India, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello all in India, I should say. But yeah, this is going to be the render that we'll be doing here today. I really liked the aesthetic of this image here, but then of course keeping true to the actual Bates Motel. I don't actually know where to credit the original image here from. This was suggested inside of Discord, and then the other image that I created with the atmosphere, that was done in Midjourney. So I created that using AI, and then we'll be kind of using those as our reference images moving forward. Now I'm going to, this is Blender 4.0, so there's I think a couple plugins that I don't exactly have installed quite yet here. Let me double check. Did I get Botanic installed yet? Human Gen, no I didn't. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And I'll ask, how's your guys' week? Would you guys working on this week? Any new projects that you guys are doing? I've been quite busy myself actually. It's been a very busy time, but it's been good, and I like to practice on a lot of different things. Lately I've been just messing around with lighting and like the new features in Blender, which is just super awesome. Oh, that's right, I downloaded this but I never installed it. Let's go ahead and get that installed here. Is that gonna work? Physical starlight and atmosphere. Perfect for when you don't have like HDRIs that you want to have to use, but also great for creating your own lighting from scratch every single time. Very awesome plugin. I really love them. I've been using them for years, so I got that installed here. So it's physical starlight and atmosphere. Get on Blender Marketplace. I am not sponsored by them by any means, but one of my favorite add-ons for sure. And then we're going to also go ahead in here and install Botanic, which is another add-on that I am absolutely in love with. Create some really nice trees, and really good for grass and stuff like that. How was my weekend? Really good, actually. Very productive. I'm doing a lot of writing right now. So I've been able to spend entirety of yesterday just writing a new script that I've been working on, and that was awesome. Like, it's hard to get in that creative space where you just really get that juices pumping and flowing, and yesterday was awesome. I was able to really knock out a lot of stuff, and writing is one of those things where it's like not super rewarding initially, but once you really get something that clicks, you can feel it. And like yesterday, I feel like I was able to answer a lot of questions that I had about my script. I'm gonna actually, because I didn't have time, I'm gonna set up a couple of these settings here. So we'll be doing a 1920 by 1920 image. This week I started to work, but I did not finish it. Okay, yeah. You know, slowly but surely get those projects in and put some time. And I always just say, like, you don't have to do a lot in one day. It's mostly just trying to, you know, get your projects moving forward as much as possible. But yeah, my weekend, it was a really fun, like, very productive weekend for me, and I'm happy I was able to kind of get all that done. I'm gonna see, let's just rotate this around on the 3D cursor here, like 45 degrees. Wow. Fun fact, Blender's not centered on by 45 degrees. Just so you know. If you ever were curious about that, that's something to note. Let's just set the camera up here. Oh wait, is this not the camera? I need to, I think I just kind of like, because I deleted it and like Control Z'd, I screwed that up, but that's fine. We're going to be looking up at the camera or up at the Bates Motel anyways, so I'm going to actually just drop in that background image because we're going to be using this as our base plate for everything moving forward. And then once we start looking at kind of like the lighting, I'm going to have the separate image here that we can like look at just to see. I really love the kind of like nighttime through the windows appearance. I also really like how these windows look like they have like curtains on them and stuff like that. They don't look too flat, and that's something that we will strive to do with our render today. So let's see, what am I doing here? Oh, that's right, we need to install the background image. Date modified, and then we don't have to worry about it. Reference image, Bates Motel. This is the other thing also with Blender 4. I don't actually have color management installed on this. We can fix that today, you know. Let's actually do that. I'm going to do that right now before we get started. Why not? You know, this is the time to do it rather than halfway through the render and then we're like, hey, wait a second. Should have been doing this all along. I'm going to save our project first. Hit that save button, everybody. The worst thing that can happen, honestly, and this happens to me all the time, is I'll be working for like an hour, and then all of a sudden I will realize I didn't save. I never hit the save button, and then you just like lose all your work, and that's just kind of like the worst feeling in the world. But let's install some color management here. There are a few things we need to do. Let's see. Let's go to our C drive here. I'm going to go into Program Files, and we're going to go to Blender Foundation. When we install color management, you can find it under Program Files, Blender Foundation, Blender 3.4, or whatever. This is the previous version that I had. And then go to Data Files, and you'll see Color Management. This is the, yes, Control S, hit that save button. This is kind of, you can put all of your color management settings in here. I have what's called TCAM. At the facility I work at, they color grade in Blender, or sorry, not Blender, but Baselight, which is the film light kind of color space. If you want, you can install ACES. I'll probably make a whole separate video about this, just like very clear like ways to install different color management setups. But I like to do TCAM, which has all of my configuration files in here, as well as the main config.ocio file. So I'm actually just going to copy this color management folder as a whole. And actually probably the best thing to do is actually just copy the tcam config.ocio. I'm going to go back to Blender Foundation. I got the new install of Blender 4.0 here. And if I go back into 4.0, data files, I can go to color management, but you'll see it says Filmic and all its LUTs. These are the LUTs that are installed with basic Blender. And then, of course, Filmic is the color space that Blender uses, the Filmic color space. So I can actually just create a new folder right now. And I'm just going to call this old because I don't want to delete any of these things. And I'll just throw my Filmic inside of old. So hit continue on that. That way we're not deleting anything, although you could do a fresh install of Blender and then you'll kind of get everything back here. But I'm going to put the config file in there as well as our Filmic file. And so then if I hit paste of our color management, which actually let's cancel that. I copied the wrong thing. That's fine. Let's go back over here. Data files, go into color management, and then we're just going to copy this right here, tcam and the config.ocio file. And then let's go back over to Blender 4.0, data files, color management, and then we'll go ahead and paste this in here, like so. We'll just do this all for all the files. And once we paste that, let's actually go ahead and restart Blender as a whole. And this time when it loads, it might give us an error, which it did not. But we can go ahead and open up this new file here, and I'll just pull this over here so you can see really what it is. Oh, hey, subscribe. I just saw the thing when I was looking up there. But anyways, now when we go over here to our properties window, we hit color management. If we scroll down, you're going to see the display devices are different, as well as our sequencer. And the sequencer is the most important part. This is basically what your scene color of your actual world is being set as. And this right here, I'm setting it to film light linear. If I want to work in an ACES workflow, I can change this to ACES CG or something like that. But film light linear will work perfect for us because then I know how to tag that as. And why that's important is when I open up Nuke later, when we go into comping, I can import our render and I can tag it as film light linear rather than tagging it as whatever this is. So actually I could even test this out. So let's just go ahead and create this as a new material here. Let's just make it full red, not green, not blue. And if I just move the light here, we can kind of see this take place. I'm going to just scale this guy up, save, and hit the render button. This will go really quickly because it's just a cube. And I'm going to put it on the same monitor here. But this render right here, when it finishes, there's actually one more thing. Let's go to the output settings here, and you need to change this from PNG to an EXR format because EXRs will trigger Blender, at least the old versions of Blender. It wouldn't actually do like a linear color space if it was like PNG or something like that. So if you do OpenEXR multi-layers, then you will you could select the color management even here. It says follow scene. You can also override it, change it to like film light linear or whatever. Let's just keep it on override so that way we know for sure it's actually doing what we want it to do. And so now if we hit the render button here, this will render it out again. And OpenEXR multi-layer is kind of the same thing as just a regular EXR to kind of like add to that. The only difference is that it allows you to have multiple layers on top of everything, which I don't know why that's screwing with that right there. But now if we go ahead and save this, we'll create a new folder here called output. Let's see, old version of Blender actually kind of screwed up the color a little bit, but I kind of knew the adjustments on the top of my head. It always made it slightly darker than the proper color output. So let's just actually do this. We're going to do test render here. So test 1. And then when we go into our Nuke settings here, same deal. Actually, in our color, you'll notice that we have OCIO, I have custom, and it's pointed at our tcam OCIO file. This is the exact same configuration file that we had before. So now if I go ahead and import this new render now, output test 1. Firstly, because I rendered it out as OpenEXR multi-layer, when I go and view it, it's just going to be black. It's not going to be anything else. What we can do though is we can actually, well, there's a couple things we can do. We can actually just change our viewing up here to combined, and then we'll see our render. But since we don't want to do that, we want to view the RGB channels inside of our composite. Let's go ahead and use a shuffle node. And if we use the shuffle node, I could see under the B input here, I can put it under combined. And then if I just grab all of this and then press Control, you can just replace everything here. And now your RGB settings will be set to that combined. Now let's actually just A/B the two of these, and you'll notice that the red is the exact same color. I think the gray is slightly different between the two of them, and that's kind of what I was mentioning before. I've noticed that coming from Blender into Nuke, and we can even verify this right here. This is set to default scene linear, but if I change this to scene film light linear, it's the same color space. That at least gets us super close. I know that last week, for instance, we were using the default Blender Filmic color management, and it was not close whatsoever. But this will at least get you in the ballpark. I'm not quite sure why Blender is slightly off. If anybody actually knows, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'm not quite sure why Blender seems to always crush things or make it seem brighter actually than it actually is. And you know, it also might be just because of the way we're viewing it. Actually curious, because I know if we open up the view settings here, you can change kind of your, maybe not, let's go to Blender real quick, and if you go to the color management again, I'll just pull this over so you can see what we're doing here. The view transform is set to our sRGB 2.2. That might slightly change it, but we are set to 2.2 TCAM 100 nits, so it's actually the exact same thing. If we look at both screens here, we're using the same viewing transform. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to research more into this to see why exactly it's a little different, but that's potentially the reason. I don't know. It's just something to note when you're going back and forth between Blender and Nuke. You're going to get a slight difference in the shadows out of everything. Hey bro, I love your work. Oh, thank you so much. This is a good moment right here between going into the actual scene. I do actually have a Discord now, so if you guys want to suggest any new renders to me, then go join the Discord. And this actual image that we're doing today is a suggestion from a subscriber, and so we will be creating this from scratch today. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll be jumping right on in here. Okay, for our specific scene, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and delete our cube. Get out of freaking orthographic view. No one likes orthographic view. And I'll go to camera view here just so we can see kind of what we're doing. Another thing to note is now that we have color management set up in our scene, if we select our camera and then go into our camera settings here, we will now notice that we can tag our background images as whatever color space we want. And we know that this is 1886 2.4 gamma Rec 709. So if we select that and then we just increase the opacity, this image will actually be correct. And this is really important if you guys have visual effects plates or anything like that that you're trying to map color wise to your scene, any CG material to your plate. That is a very important thing to do there. And disable our floor and our X and Y, and then now we can go ahead and get started here. I'm going to select a plane and then just kind of scale that up. Let's see, I want to, let's go ahead and kind of just get this general orientation down correctly. And I want the camera to feel a little more present in the scene, so let's go ahead and change it to like 35 millimeter. And again, this is just a reference video, a reference picture, so we don't need it to be perfect. But yeah, how was your guys' week though? Enough about me, more about you. It was, you know, I feel like this week has been really awesome because I've been able to be very productive, and sometimes it's hard to be creative and be productive. So to me, I've actually had a pretty good week overall. I'm going to set that to wireframe here. I'm also going to add in a kind of a cube to scale up. Oh, let's turn off 3D cursor. We'll set this to medium points. And kind of just line this up. I'm trying to get onto the game of making YouTube shorts again. It's just been I've been so busy that I haven't been able to do as much as I would have liked. I do like making the YouTube shorts because it seems to, you know, like not everybody can watch the entire stream that I do, but those of you that can, I really appreciate it. But there are a lot of people that don't have the fortitude or time to do that. So I find the YouTube shorts are really nice because it can take a lot of the stuff that we're working on and then just, you know, really make it quick and easy, biteable information. which I find is like a nice thing that a lot of streamers kind of do. I'm not a streamer though. Okay, let's get that straight. Just because I live stream doesn't mean I'm a streamer. I'm a visual effects artist that just happens to share his work. Let's do that. I feel like the orientation is just a little off here. No one likes orthographic. Yeah, orthographic view sucks. Let's get like an anti-orthographic view campaign going here. Nobody wants orthographic view. All you orthographic view users, I only use it, I actually only use it for one particular area. Is basically I use orthographic view when I'm doing like straight on, like first person or side view. I took that personally. Yes, okay. Maybe I shouldn't be so blatant and outright with my hate. Now you made me feel bad. I'm sorry. I'll like instantly lose half my subscriber base. Which is not that much. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think, you know, it's not that big of a loss here if we lose all the isometric modelers. Let's extrude that down. We're just going to kind of create a bit of a lip here and then take that upwards here and then scale that all in. I got to go through my music because I have like a bunch of music that I have playing every single week when we're doing these streams that is like copyrighted. And so then like YouTube's constantly like sending me emails, and it's more annoying than anything that they do that because I'm obviously can't monetize. So it's just funny that they constantly are telling me like, hey, by the way, you can't be playing this music, but we're cool with you playing it because you're not monetizing your content. I'm like, great, perfect. So what's the problem? Just kind of extrude this outwards. I'm gonna, like right now, we're just kind of like blocking out the shape of this whole thing, but I'm gonna hollow this out as we go into it later. I do kind of want, like right now, we can just scale this outwards. Create that lip again, scale it in. And just scale upwards, and then again, scale inwards. And I also wanted to recommend, I mean, since we have the Discord, I have the whole showcase section. I don't want to be like you guys to think that I'm the only one that's allowed to share art into that section. I made it so that everybody can post whatever, you know, they're working on. Of course, keep it PG because Discord told me to tell everybody that. Which, you know, you have to tell like 3D artists that, because I feel like a lot of 3D artists are just like the horniest people I've ever met or seen. It's like every time I log on, I'm like part of several different like Facebook groups and stuff like that, and it's like, holy crap, guys, like, you know, it's like I feel like everybody's in their preview best whatever, I can't even talk, but you get what I'm saying. All right, so keep it chill, keep it cool, you know, and then we'll all be good here, because I don't want to get in trouble. All right. So wait, are we having the stairs kind of go down, I guess, in an angle here, and then a little more straight onto the camera side, and then straight on again? I think that's the goal here. Let's do it this way. We're gonna do it via, let's do it a cube. Is that roughly the right size? And then if we go into this and then we press Control B, we can, I think we might need to make this smaller. Just scale this down slightly, not too much. And if we go into here and then hit the bevel options, we can change this to like stairs. They have a preset, right? It should have steps. Yeah. And then now under segments, if we just increase our segments, we're going to get those stairs. Boom, I don't have to manually do stairs. And then let's just grab this on the y-axis and then scale it backwards. Oh, I should have done like one more. I was so close to the correct amount of stairs. Let's do that again. Control B. And one more stair. Perfect. What we could also do here is, instead of doing it this way, which is just so, let's hide this, so that way I can actually see what I'm doing here. Set your 3D cursor to like this face on this side here, and then when we can change our scaling options to 3D cursor, and so now it's going to scale away from it. There we go. See, that's what professionals do. They don't do what I was doing before, where they do the eyeball method. Scale that back. We're just going to make that top step a little bit closer to the same size. What am I doing? Scale Y. There we go. Okay, great. Let's unhide our ground that we have, and we can just kind of position this more correctly. I already know there's like a million shortcuts in Blender, but I do wish that there was like several that I really wish for are being able to change these settings here, which I think you could do that control space, shift space. Yeah, shift space, if you do shift space. I just don't ever remember to do it. And then the last thing I really wish was the transform pivot. Is there a shortcut to open that up? Shift space was the one I was looking for earlier. I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like there's so many shortcuts and my hands are never next to shift in space. So then I might as well just go click it. Oh, and we'll have to make like the railing here on the side as we're going. And that's fine. I can use my knife tool here, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. Just press enter, and now we can go in and oops, delete this vertice. Look at me, guys, using the knife tool. That's another tool that I almost never use, but I was watching a video over the week about somebody modeling different houses and using the knife tool, and I was like, oh my god, I need to use the knife tool more often. That's like such a freaking cool tool. Oh, I think I scaled these too big. Is that what I did here? Shift space. And then scale on the... Oh, no. See? I got that messed up. 3D cursor. I feel like that's the correct scaling there. Always try to stay true to your scaling, guys. Just gonna kind of scale that up there, and then voila. Now another thing I kind of wish that I could do in Blender is something that you can do in Nuke, and that's where you can use a transform onto an already pre-existing transform. So if I went to modifiers and I use the array tool, I would be able to do an array, rotate it, and move it to the location that I want to. But I'm not quite sure that I can rotate with the array. So alas, we're just going to go into duplication mode here and kind of just move this down. That's good. We'll have to create the railings though, which is annoying. Like I really wish I could have done that on like one thing here. I suppose geometry nodes is the answer to my question on that, rather than trying to do it, you know, after the fact. Is that really what the solution is here? Oh, the other thing we could do is so if space bar goes to cursor, B, shift space then B though, I feel like is such a hassle to do that. Right? Select, invert, control I, that's what it is. Hide. I'm gonna just select all the vertices in the middle here, and then if we go ahead and delete those vertices, I can kind of just fill this in. And let's go ahead and just move everything up, including this piece here. And this is going to be our railing that we're going to create. So let's go ahead and just kind of move that up to about the height that we want it to be at. And if we select everything, we can just fill it. And now, since we have that, we could just extrude that outwards. And that's going to kind of create our ledge on the one side of the stairs. Now we could just, again, press L and then move that over. Probably the easiest way to do that. So we could just go ahead and delete that. And then finally, before I go ahead and duplicate everything multiple times, let's go ahead and just bevel it. And this is going to create ourselves, ooh, no, we don't want that. We're gonna bevel it, but we're going to change the preset to default, which flattens everything actually. I don't know why it's flattening everything. Control B. We got crown molding. Oh, because it's just straight. I haven't done it. What do edges, loop edges? It's sharp. Oh, there we go. It's like, why is it not round? I just want to round the edges here. And then this is going to catch the light a lot better later when we get into lighting. So it's just ideal to kind of have those rounded edges. It's also just more realistic. In real life, there's no such thing as anything that has like 100% a flat edge to it. So anytime you can add in a little bit of an edge to it, that just adds some free detail to your whole scene. Definitely recommend it. Go ahead and kind of just create our walkway here. We can use our knife tool later, but for right now, let's go ahead and just duplicate this down, more specifically on the height of the stairs. So we could do that over here. It's just, choo. Hey yo, Veeth, welcome, welcome. And then, let's see, just line that up, and then we'll use our knife tool to kind of make sure that everything is perfect here. Just kind of move that down. I don't mind the stairs being like slightly higher than the rest of it. So I think that's good. And we can go back into this first one here, and honestly, we don't even need to use the knife tool. We just need to grab it and kind of connect it to the flat area that we already have. Oh, whoops. Grab it and connect it to the stairs. That's what we want. And then we'll grab this side here so that way we're not clipping too much. And it's a little more even. And there's our stairs, guys. Let's go ahead and duplicate that again down, and we're going to create a couple more sets of stairs. Actually, let's see, do we really want... I'm gonna skip. I know there's like another set of stairs before this, but we're gonna get away with not doing it. And again, just kind of lining up our floor plan here. And if we just add like a loop cut into this, I'm going to make this go out a little further. Just so way it doesn't feel like we're cramping that walkway too much. I'm just gonna move this up now. I do think that works. So we'll go ahead and save that. Let's do the last set of stairs. Duplicate this and more towards the camera, as if us as the viewer are being kind of invited up into the Bates hotel thing. Move it to the correct height. I'm trying to figure out how far back we want this, because if like we have it like there, yeah, that's a little bit better. Just felt like you weren't going to see the bottom of the stairs, and I definitely wanted to see the bottom of the stairs. I can even move it a little further in. Yeah, that works great, because now we can see the bottom here, and the edges will be stretched once we add in our lens distortion. So I'm not concerned about that right now. Now let's go ahead and just like polish off this area here. So if we add in another loop cut, we can grab this edge here and stretch it to the side of our stairs. That's going to go all the way back. I'm fine with that. And now we just need to go top view. And we'll have our hillside that we're going to add in here momentarily. It's just wanted to get those stairs kind of set so that way we had our walkway going all the way up towards the house first. Let's go ahead and hit the save button there. Before things get too crazy, I do recommend adding in some collections to stay organized. So I'm going to create a new collection just for our camera, and this is going to have everything associated with the camera, so later when we add in our like focus pulling and all that stuff, we'll have the camera section. I'm going to rename this main collection here to layout. Just regular layout, sorry. Let's go ahead and delete that. And let's create a new collection outside of this main collection here, and we will call this lighting. So if we grab our light that we would have had, we can place that inside of there, but it looks like we don't have any lights yet. I think it's because I deleted the main point light. Cool. I did install the plugins, right? Yeah, I got Botanic in there. Fantastic. Awesome. So now we've got kind of the main structure of everything lined up. Let's see, I think our stairs are further to the left. I'm fine with that though. Let's go ahead and create some of these pedestals around each section of the staircase. So if we add in ourselves a cube, just a plain old cube. And we're doing this as a separate object that is everything else because I do want it to be slightly imperfect. Since we have the different rotations of everything, you do want it to be a little different than the rest of the stairs. That way it feels a little more imperfect, a little more on edge, and then that also sets your viewer to be a little more on edge as well with everything. So firstly, we just add in a cube. We're going to add in with shading later kind of like the stone effect. But we will want some bevels in this, so let's go ahead and add some bevels. And I'm going to add in a loop cut in the center here and just kind of scale that in just to create a little bit more of a shape to it. It's not perfect. So if I hit shade smooth, do need that's selected. There we go. And if we select this edge here, I'm just going to kind of straighten that out, bow it to one side so that way this edge is curved, but that edge is not, and that's just going to make it feel a little more natural. And then when we add in our shading, we can actually add in some displacement to everything. And even if we do that right now, I'm going to add in just displace hit new on the material, and then let's change this to something like marble. And if we go back to our main section here, 0.01 for our strength. Whoops, gotta turn my num lock on for that. Let's try 0.1. And before we actually do any of that, let's go ahead and add in a new subdivide surface. Place that before the displace. That's just going to give us some more vertices to kind of like work with here. To like 0.02, you'll notice now it feels a little more choppy, and that's good. And that's good for us. So that's just a cube right now that we will later add in some actual materials for as well. And yeah, it looks like we only have that on the left side, but we can have it like on the right side. We could have it stagger all the way up the stairs as we're going here. So one more thing that we can add to it. Just like model like a pot or something. And we can maybe even use botanics pots. So let's just see what we have here. Plants, pots. They got some pots. You know, yeah, let's just use this. That's fine. I think that works. If I duplicate this, yeah, it works great. Awesome. Let's just move this all the way up here to the top. Do we want this like, I feel like it needs to be on the inside. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Go ahead and save that. Let's add one here. And then one all the way up here. And then one like right here. It'd be kind of cool, actually. I don't know. No, we're not going to do that. But I was like, ooh, flames as it's going up. We did that last week. We don't need to do that again. I think that's nice. Let's. Do we want any more? Let's have two at the very top up here. I'm fine with that one actually being kind of like rotated incorrectly. Let's go ahead and save that. Now as we're going into some of these sections down here, if we grab this face and just kind of extrude it outwards. Let's actually duplicate it because I'm going to want to bevel everything later ourselves. But let's go ahead and extrude outwards, kind of just like line this up with the rest of the walkway here. And then if we just take everything, we could just bevel it. Is that the answer? And now we've got like more of a walkway as we're going. I do also maybe if we do an edge loop here and then let's go to wireframe. That's pretty nice. I like that. Let's go ahead and just take this and we could just duplicate it now. We don't even have to remake it. Oh, I like that. This week has been pretty busy though. I've submitted to about 20 different film festivals at this point. So fingers crossed on that. This whole, basically, to get your film into festivals, it's I think that I saw some statistic where it was roughly like 5 to 10% of films submitted, or no, you get into 5 to 10% of the festivals that you submit to, which is pretty low. So I guess I have to submit to a lot of festivals to get into them. But I am submitting to festivals all around the world. I figured it might be fun to meet some of you guys if it's in other countries. Oh, whoops. Don't want to select this guy over there. Also, I haven't done too much traveling, so it's a good excuse to try to get into different ones. You got any advice for modular building kits? It all breaks if I create even the slightest irregularity from the grid. Let's say a tilted wall, and I have to create bridge components. I haven't done too much, like, you're talking about, I suppose, kit bashing, like creating kit bashing kits. Is that what you're kind of asking about? Because I suppose, yeah. Are you talking about kit bashing kits? Because I suppose there is, like, my suggestion would be, if you can, oh, I only need one of these. Delete that. If you can try to create a consistency of the connecting ports, then you would be able to create very unique potential, like, sets to it, right? So, like, you would have to, of course, work in, like, let's say, as you said, a grid of, like, a square. So your outer design would have to, like, have connections. It's always, like, north and south, or maybe you have different, like, ones where it's, like, left and right. That way you can kind of, like, build more artistically on the inside of it. Yeah, like kit bash for houses. I think, like, if you can try to find an artistic way of doing that through your modular design as the connection ports, like, think of it like Legos, or like think of it like the space station, right? The space station, all of them are like circular connecting ports, but, like, every single piece of the space station will have different components that make it look different. And then if you were to try to kit bash, quote unquote, like the space station, you could take all those parts and then screw them into different things and make different shapes. Ultimately, like, the house ultimately would have different shapes. But ideally, like, you could have a piece that's, like, just the front section or the side section, or, like, different towers or stuff like that. I would imagine. I'll be honest, I've not actually created, like, a kit bash a set before, so it's not something that I'm super qualified to give you an answer on. But I hope that helps. I do like these stairs, though, with the railings that we're adding in here. Whoops. We just have one more to do. Duplicate that and extrude it outwards. I would imagine if you could find a way for, like, the different connecting parts to have, like, a consistency there. I don't know why, like, Legos in my head for that, but, like, Legos, you can have infinite design because the connecting ports are always kind of the same. But, like, that's a very, like, small version of what you're asking about. But if you could do the same thing, but with your connecting ports being, I guess, in a larger sense, like hallways on a house, then I would imagine you would be able to find something that would work pretty well for that. that looks nice. It has a nice sagging quality to it. And I'm fine with the main stairs kind of just being very straight as we're going up. I think that works well. And then we can have like our hillside with some like grass, some weeds. I really do like, I feel like weeds help a lot when trying to just add like a photorealistic quality to your renders. So whenever you're in doubt, just add weeds. I'm gonna just do this via a cube, I think. If we just kind of scale this whole thing, see what we get here. Kind of grab that out and just like set that there. Let's bring that down. This is gonna get rough before it gets better, let's just say that. So you're working on like a kit bash thing that you would sell like on a website? I've actually never created models for a website. I bought quite a bit though, but I've never actually made one myself. I do feel like there needs to be like a certain somewhat quality level to it, and I'm not quite sure I'm there. I always say that like there's different types of models you can create, and there's models for video games where they have to be perfect from like every angle, and then there's like movie models, and that's more of the stuff that I do, which is movie models, which is good from one angle. And you can tell like all of my renders that I do, I only do from one camera angle, and it's not even like, you know, and honestly it's like animation would even have more versions than what I do. Oh, whoops. Just loop cut that there as well. It's probably the dumbest way to make a mountain, isn't it? There's got to be a better way. I'm going to just do this and then sculpt it to be what I need it to be, honestly. But it does not look good with village-like medieval. I feel like I've seen a medieval village kit bash kit before. I'm pretty sure I have seen a medieval kit bash kit. I was actually, funny enough that you mentioned medieval, somebody commented before the stream started to do a medieval render, and I really like that idea, so I might be doing that. Which again, reminder guys, we have a Discord, so if you guys got suggestions, then go put the suggestions in the Discord for what future renders might be. This particular render was actually a suggestion, so I don't have a lot of subscribers, so if you make a suggestion, it probably will happen. As long as it's a good suggestion. Like, I'm not going to do any, and by good I mean appropriate. I'm not going to do inappropriate things on this channel. Although we did do that conjuring photo, we just ended up changing, it so that way it was a little more PG in the end of the day. Make this a little more of a slope. I don't really see it over there. I think this is a little high still as well, so we can bring that down. Okay, great. Now, with that all done, let's go ahead and add in, doing it for Friends Unity project. Oh, very cool, very cool. Then it has to be like very efficient. I know with like game design, you always have to do things very efficient. Multi-res. I don't want it to I need these edges to stay the same. Am I gonna have to use like a loop cut to do that? We could do that. Oops. Subdivide surface. Did I screw everything up? I don't know if multi-res was the answer. And then let's see, one more. I think that works, and then I can just sculpt everything to fit a little bit better. Let's just subdivide it one more time. Let's apply everything. And let's go into sculpt mode. Kind of fix everything up here. This is mostly just going to be a lot of grabbing. I'm going to use elastic grab because it's going to be a little bit easier this way. Grab everything and have it line up. Although you're not going to really see past, that's the great thing, is we're not going to see past this walkway. So as long as it looks good connecting to the top here, then I think we'll be fine. Now, I guess I have a question for game designers. Have you found that Unreal Engine is more effective at higher density models than Unity, or is Unity pretty good nowadays? I know that like back in the day, Unreal just was like so much better at it. I don't know if that's still the case. Now, why do you need it to be modular? If you're going to be making it for a friend's project, then why don't you just build the models that you want? Unless it's like a, every time you get to a medieval city, it's a completely different type of situation. In which case, you could kind of have it still connect via hallways. And then let's say you add a tower, you model up a tower. You would have a couple different aspects of that tower. So maybe you have the base of the tower, and then you have a top piece of the tower, or like a middle piece of the tower, and then a top piece of the tower. And then the bottom piece could have like hallways that go like this direction, or maybe it doesn't have hallways, but the hallways that you create later go further than the actual hex that they're on. So that way they can connect to different elements that may be like a smaller form factor. And so then you can have walls, and like those walls can all be different sizes. But then like even with all your towers, you can have like 3 or 4 different towers, and they could all stack on top of each other upwards. That might work. Just an idea. Oh, this looks terrible down here. It's where like scraping has to come in and like a lot of cleanup work here, because I use, this is bad topology, guys. Don't do bad topology when doing sculpting, okay? I use the draw tool and kind of just create this edge here. Whoops. Again, just kind of smooth that out. If we don't see it, no one will know the difference. Which is the key to life, guys. The key to life is making sure that nobody sees where the dead bodies lie. And that was meant figuratively. That's pretty nice. Let's just take this edge here and we can duplicate it and extrude it upwards. I'm just gonna create a bit of a curb. We can really smooth that He asked if it was a oh, for a building mechanic. Okay, yeah. Then yeah, I mean, make it so that I would say try to make it so that way it's like the hallways, if you're trying to create hallways, those things can be longer than the form factor. Because if it's going to the inside, although I don't know, like now, are people going to have to be able to walk through the building? Or is it just from the outside? Because if it's just from the outside, you can get away with a lot more. Okay, that, I think I'm cool with that. Also, about your question, I haven't done much in Unreal, but since the nanite update, it can handle much more poly count. Is nanites like a specific building format, or is it like any 3D model that you import is like a nanite project thing? Because like that was something that I wasn't quite sure of. Because I saw their test that they released on that, and it was pretty cool. I wasn't quite sure if nanite was something that like everybody could do, or what. Oops. Need this face here. Well, more specifically, I kind of want this bottom face. Honestly, that's okay. Then I could just add bricks to like this portion of it there. And then if I just grab this face, just go to this view. Let's go ahead and extrude outwards. We don't need to see how thick it is. This is where bad modeling techniques come in, guys. Don't look. Close your eyes. Let's go ahead and extrude that upwards. And again, I'm fine with it not being perfect. You know why? Because the people that made it with their real hard-working hands, they weren't perfect. And then we'll have like a tiny little hillside on this side here to kind of fill in the gaps there. And then we can start working on some of the design for the house. But I'm thinking that this can just be a bit of a brick drop-off there. Another way, instead of us modeling everything, we could just go to mesh and then add in... ooh, I gotta enable it. This is why using a new version of Blender is always fun. It doesn't always have my plugins enabled. Save. Save! 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 There you go. Mesh, landscape. It's fine. Scale it up. Nobody needs to know that it was supposed to be a mountain. We're not picky around here, alright? I don't like how it has like a gully. But I kind of just want it to feel like a granite drop-off on the side of this area here. So if we do that... let's just line that up. And we don't like this thing up here, but that's chill. Don't need to cry over spilt milk. Let's just add in a cube. And then just grab it on the Z-axis and move it up one. Yeah, it's fine. And then let's scale via 3D cursor, scale up to something like that. That's fine. And then let's go ahead and create search for a Boolean. And we'll just use this cube that we created here. Let's apply that, delete the cube. Perfect. Almost perfect. We just got all these guys that we have to deal with. If only Booleans would make it so that way when I pressed Alt and selected it, I would be able to just Alt click this super easy. That way I don't have to do this and make myself look really bad. Oh no. Okay, that's fine. No one has to see it. No one needs to know it exists. Shh, shh, shh. No one needs to know it exists. Oh, you can adjust that. You can actually adjust how far away objects are inside of your display here. You can, I think you can do it here, right? There is a way to do it. One second. I've done it before. You can go to your display settings and you can change your scale. Oh, no, that's not. That's the floor. But there is a way to do it. It's one of the settings here. But you can adjust the actual, like, oh man, dude, I want to show you. Because, like, I did it once by accident. Or it was by accident. I just found it and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Let's not do that again. And that was basically what happened. But there is a way to do it. Shadow, single, object, world, viewport. This is all your render preset settings for your viewport shading. I don't waste too much time doing it, but it's one of these settings up here. There is a setting that you can actually change what the like the millimeters of your camera are as you're flying around. So yeah, there is a settings for your LOD up there somewhere. Oh my god. No one needs to see how bad that is, but you're not going to see it. No one's going to see it. No one needs to see it. I think we're good, you know? Like, in the end of the day, no one needs to know it's there. Just us. This will be our little secret. Oh, that's so bad, guys. That's so bad. I think, actually, you know what? I know why. Object, mode. Let's go to edit mode. Let's do select. And then let's select... if we select objects that are like floating, how do we do that? Select loose objects. Is that a thing? You also just go to mesh and then you can do cleanup. Then if you go to mesh, cleanup, delete loose objects. That would have been a way to do it. Oh, but these aren't loose. That's kind of like part of the problem. Whatever. No one needs to know. Shh. No one needs to know. That comment went about Blender. It was about my previous... Your previous what? Oh. I got you. Sorry. But yes. Okay, I understand now. We're on the same page at this point. Alright, we're not going to mess with that. No one cares. No one needs to see it. And no one knows. No one needs to know. Alright, this is... Stop it. I feel like this environment is more complicated than my average environment that I would do, so... I'm going to keep this slightly below everything here. We're not going to see it, but I want to be able... Oh yeah, I guess we will see it like right there. But I want to have like grass like leading up to kind of like this granite surface that we have on that side there. Funny enough, I was trying to keep everything organized, but it's all been building with inside of my lighting so far. So let's go ahead and click that layout section there. Oh yeah, now we have botanic because we added all our pots in. Okay, great. Perfect. I feel like the environment is almost there. It's just now the house that needs some love and attention, and a tree. We do need a tree, so let's just go add one. I'm gonna add one like right over here. A little further back. Something like that. And I need a dead tree, so probably a deciduous one. Find something that... Let's scale that down. Perfect. Look at my amazing 3D modeling abilities. I created a tree out of nothing using a plugin that I bought. So let's go ahead and add another tree over here. And let's do it like this one. I like this one. I do have a whole video about how you can customize trees, but essentially, in our particular instance, we're just going to duplicate this tree here, and we will rotate it and like kind of create our own custom thick boy, as they were. Make sure to set that to medium points, that way we're scaling it on its own origin. And we can save that. I'm going to look over here. We have not really that many bushes, but we do have like kind of like a dead tree trunk that's going to be like on this section here that we want to add in. So let's go ahead and do that. Of course, add in your 3D cursor down here. It's as if like a tree was where the stairs were. They didn't chop the tree down, they just built the stairs on top of it, and that tree slowly died off. That's what we're doing. So let's go ahead and add in, I wish they had tree trunks. They have tree trunks? I know I just downloaded a new version, so let's just look. Trunk. No assets found. Why are you gonna do that to me? Why do I have to do it this way? It's such a pain in the butt. Oh, it's so sad. Alright, we're gonna grab a somewhat simple tree. And that's fine. And we're going to convert this to an editable object. Now, if we go into our edit mode, let's just select our main branches that we have here. And I'll even get like these big ones that are kind of coming off as well. And just go ahead and select these guys. We're just going to grab a few of them. We don't need too many because we can actually duplicate anything that we need. So I think that's good. Probably Shift L that guy. There we go. And now if we go and select invert everything, we can delete all the excess branches that we don't need. So now we got this like Charlie Brown twig. So we're going to scale that down, and if we rotate that over here, we're going to do a few different things. Firstly, this branch is going to like kind of like our main branch that we're going to have lined up here. Let's have it do something like that. Fun fact, a modder created a one-for-one replica kind of the universe in Source Engine, Gmod. Wait, how do you replicate the universe if like we don't even know like a lot of things about the universe? I'm confused. Also, does that mean they like hand modeled it, or is like using? Well, I would imagine it's like, it can't be just generative because. Let's go ahead and scale this down. Kind of just line this up here. How do you do that? How does one have those patience to do that? I couldn't. I just would not have the faculties to do something like that. Okay, let's rotate that upwards a little bit more. Put that upside down, actually. Great. So now we're going to have like those kind of branches sticking off there. Since they're editable, we can change the shaders for it later. We don't have to worry about it. Yeah, so it's not the accuracy, it's about the scale. Oh. Okay, a modder created a one-for-one replica of the universe in Source Engine. Oh, well, what's the scale like? And then if it's like in Gmod, does that mean you get to fly around on like makeshift like spaceships? That would actually be kind of cool. Also take you legitimately, well, I mean, not forever, but I can't imagine to fly anywhere. I'm gonna kind of work on this porch here. It needs some love and attention, some care, and that's what we're here for, everybody. This is the group therapy session for the Norman Bates house. Imagine the therapy on that. Do you think he went to therapy? Did Norman Bates go to therapy? Not quite sure he did, which might be the problem. It's kind of just, we have, whoa, let's do that. Cool thing is, we can kind of just line this up with what our actual reference photo is. We should get pretty close to everything that we need. And let's go into here. Let's edit this face. Let's, ooh, whoops. Select this face. More specifically, kind of like these bottom front rings here. And just delete the vertices. Just trying to work a little bit on this porch, and then we can start going into shading and texturing this house. So what did he fill up this 1-for-1 scale with? Or is it just like completely like just an empty kind of example file? And also why? Seems like a lot of work. Oh. Let's just go and fill that in there, and then we've got like this front door section as well. Let's go ahead and just create our doorway. Oh, of course. It basically uses the same chunking system as Minecraft. Oh, okay. Oh, dude, Minecraft used to be so laggy. Imagine, though, if you did it in Minecraft right now. Wow. And I mean, I started playing Minecraft back in 2012 when it was first released. Completely different system now. Like, the game's not even the same. I tried to get into Minecraft again with a few friends like a couple years ago, and it's just like, dude, they have so many things now. It's kind of crazy. Just about how far people have taken 18-year-old engine, which was not even intended for. True, yeah. Was Gary's mod was it's a game, isn't it? It's not really a game engine. Although I suppose you could call it a game engine, right? Has the ability to create mini games basically from it. I guess it's turned into a game engine. That's mostly like the crazy part about it. It's also just insane to see like what people do create nowadays, like you said, with like things that weren't necessarily intended for, and now what they can create with it because of how far technology just as a whole has come. Kind of create this nice little window up here. I also did in the same object, so I just need to do that. We're going to use this for both the window. I guess we don't really need to chop into this thing at all. Let's that's about the right size. So let's just extrude that, scale it upwards. And this could be the interior of the window. And then let's just go ahead and fill that. I'm just going to select this as a whole, and then if we press Y, it becomes its own separate object, which is cool. Now, if we go ahead and select everything and then just add a bevel to it, it's not going to bevel that face. That's exactly what we want. We don't want it smooth. Is the top, does that have like a railing up there? What is the top of the Bates Mansion? Oh, it's mostly by Gmod. It's like one of those things where basically a game has taken over the engine because the engine probably has gone under since the inception of it. Since the inception of the game, anyways. Here's something else I just noticed. This section here is taller than the rest of the house. And you know what? It matters. If it was just like my own house that I'm creating here, then I'd be like, oh yeah, well screw it, no one cares. But, you know, I'm sure I'm going to get somebody somewhere that's like, hey, that's not accurate to the beach house. You should stop making animated photos ever again. And I'll be like, yeah, you're right. Just do it like this. And if we extrude this down to there, I'm just gonna fill this in now. And you know what? We almost don't need to do this side because guess what? The camera's not gonna see it. And that's the great thing about doing visual effects versus video games is you don't have to do what people don't see. But I'm going to do it because I have a heart and I care about the stuff that I create. So, you know, it's very important to me that I create, you know, the most accurate looking renditions of stuff possible. And I mean that sincerely. We're going to just select the outer edge here of everything. Not the interior edge, but the exterior edge. And let's go ahead and extrude that upwards, scaling it inwards to create the top of the house. And it's flat on top, so we can just fill it. Isn't that cool? Next up, let's fill in this front section. It doesn't really matter that we're gonna have clipping because we're gonna have that like kind of like rack on the top of the house that like it looks like a rack of some kind. Scale that inwards, that way we're not gonna see through the house. And kind of just save that. I think that's cool. I think that works. Yeah, I even like the shape better of this rather than it being, you know, what we had before where everything kind of was just going up on the roof. Roofs are like the bane of my existence. I don't like the tiles that you have to place on roofs. I don't like the angle at which everything seems to be on roofs. So, yeah, if we can get rid of roofs in the future for houses, then, you know, I'm down for that. My ideal society for the future is no roofs. No more roofs. We don't need roofs. Maybe we create perfect global weathering systems where we don't actually have to, we can control the weather. So that way you have a perfect day every single day. No need for a roof. Just ideal, perfect temperatures. Oh, whoops. Don't want to hide it. That's the ideal future of Connor Thomas, is a type of society where we don't need roofs. I'm going to kind of create like the corners here first before we create the rest. Yeah, I knew I accidentally created a extra face earlier. And there we go. So we got the corners of the ski top. Remember when Skyrim came out and people talked about the player freedom within the world's boundaries, and now it's essentially become an engine people have made for games completely different? True. Yes. Yes, very true. But also, I just imagine, like, remember how like that used to be like a special gaming mechanic, was the ability to like have like an open world, and now it's like people aren't even appreciative of the fact that they can do that. They all just want it no matter what. I feel like it's a feature that a lot of people, just because they grew up having that feature in their games, now kids these days are just expecting to have that feature. And they don't realize that, you know, how much work goes into it. There's no appreciation of how difficult it is for devs to create games nowadays. Also, the fact that like every single game needs to have some kind of multiplayer aspect to it. Every single game has to have beautiful, perfect graphics, and if it doesn't, then like somehow that means it's an inferior game, when it's not. It's not an inferior game. It's just maybe they wanted to do a different style, but there are no different styles of games anymore. Everything has to be perfect renders. Everything has to be perfectly beautiful. I like that. That works for me. Just gonna duplicate this as a whole, and let's look at this photo here. Yeah. Just line this up with the actual top of the roof here, and I'm gonna go to top view here and just create a couple extra pins, and then let's just delete this and delete this. Let's grab on the y-axis, and we're just going to stretch it all the way. Yeah, I recently saw a post about how linear games are just trash. Yeah, I mean, and I don't understand like what the hate is behind that. I think it's just because people are just expecting in games now to have the ability to have an open world, and you know, it's like GTA. It's almost like the GTA effect, and like GTA is a great game, but the fact that now everybody wants to have that ability to be able to roam the world themselves and basically create their own stories within that, it's like a very unfortunate thing that's kind of happened unintentionally by that part of the community. Just people growing up with different expectations. Totally, yeah. And I think that's very true. It's like, you know, growing up with like, you know, I had like Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart and like all sorts of different games that like, you know, had different gaming experiences for me. And not everybody has that anymore because they all kind of just play the same games. Not to say those games are bad, but, you know. I'm gonna, let's see, go to, oops, vertice, and we're just going to deselect that face there. And so now if we go duplicate this, we can put it on the other side of the house here. Honestly, it's a lot like animated films in the film industry. I feel like, you know, you had so many different art styles before, like in the 2000s, like everything was just so different. And then as like Pixar started to really take off, everybody tried to emulate Pixar, and then now Illumination has kind of like mastered, I feel like, the art style of like that beautiful aesthetic of like beautiful rendered animation. And then, you know, of course the game changes. You get like the new animation art style, which is the like kind of like, I feel like when Arcane came out on Netflix, all of a sudden like every studio was like, wait a second, we need to do our own Arcane looking hand-drawn animation style because everybody's talking about it right now. And so then it's just everybody just continues to copy each other over and over and over again until there's some new style that comes out that everybody's raving about, and then everybody will copy that as well. Like right now I feel like the hand-drawn Arcane look is like very popular because you have like Puss in Boots that came out, you have you know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that came out, and they're all using very similar styles. And then even Disney, when they came out with their last animated film Wish, it's literally using the same style but like a different version of it. It's like almost like a, hesitate to use the word cheaper version, but it feels less hand-drawn and more like 2D but like kind of hand-drawn kind of effect that's going on to it. Save. Yeah, not cheaper, but you know, just different. And again, different's not bad. It's just different. Let's focus on this section here. I'm going to extrude outwards and kind of create ourselves a door frame. This is like really bad topology, which I definitely don't recommend. So, you know, don't do bad topology, guys. Don't do bad topology. It's just, you know, I'm struggling today, okay? Let's see. Let's extrude this outwards. Something like that should be fine. Oh my god. Bad topology again. This is so bad. Let's just duplicate it outwards. There we go. And we're just going to create faces on the front of it. And before we actually delete that, I'm going to add a edge loop in there. And we're going to delete the vertices here. Delete these vertices. Let's select this whole thing and then say P selection, so it's its own object. Cursor to selected, and then let's set the origin to the 3D cursor. And then let's just go add a mirror, so that way I'm making less bad choices as we're going along. Booyah. So much better. Let's just fill the top here, and then if we select the top face here, it's just we can extrude upwards. And now it should work nicely. Oh my god, guys. Fine. That works for me. Holy cramoly. Yeah, also the claymation, like Shaun the Sheep, I don't really see those much anymore. Maybe because it's more labor intensive. It's totally more labor intensive. Like Nightmare Before Christmas, like full stop motion claymation. You know, like that kind of stuff, it's just so expensive to make. And movies just don't make money anymore. You know, as you get rid of like Blu-ray, DVD sales, and things like that, you're getting rid of like home buying sales, because now it's just going to streaming platforms, and filmmakers don't get paid really for streaming platforms. Not as much as like DVDs were selling, but people like the convenience of having streaming platforms. Ideally, I mean, the best way you can support filmmakers is when they put their films up on like Amazon Prime or iTunes. Like, go buy those, because that money right there for VOD goes straight to the pockets of the filmmakers. But everybody likes their Netflix. And I have a feeling, I mean, I don't know, but like I have a feeling as, you know, as like everything is kind of progressing with how it's going right now in the film industry, I do think that slowly VOD will start to become more of the norm, and kind of like Netflix is, you know, like kind of, oh hey, you pay this subscription, you get every film kind of like unlimited. Not Netflix themselves will go away, but that idea will go away. It's also just not beneficial for filmmakers, because filmmakers used to be able to make all their money back on like collectible items. And that's the other thing. If you look at the difference between streaming and kind of like any kind of like home purchase sales of like DVDs or Blu-rays, is home purchase sales themselves helped the filmmakers and also was good for the buyers, because if you buy, let's say, an Amazon Prime video or like an iTunes video, like, yeah, you get to watch the film whenever, sure, but that's not even like the real benefit to buying those things. The real benefit of buying like a Blu-ray DVD is that it's a collectible item. It's your library that you're slowly growing and creating yourself. And that's something that you don't really get as much anymore with like VOD. Is that you don't have like that. I mean, you still have a collection per se, but it's not like a collectible item. It's like if I went and got the Blu-ray of a film, I would get the item itself. Not necessarily, I don't care as much about the film, but, you know, it's that idea that essentially that you are collecting something and able to have that in your house. Okay, you know, honestly, this is good. This is good. Let's turn those pots back on. Let's save that. I need to start adding in some windows here. We have like this front porch area as well that I need to quickly create like a fence of some kind. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. So let's add in a cube. And actually, more importantly, these guys right here, let's just bevel the edges. That's fine. And let's see, we want it to, the walkway is going to be there, so let's just go ahead and grab this, and then we'll kind of like move that across there. And again, just bevel everything down. Just kind of lining everything up. And is that so low that we can't actually see it? That's funny. Let's put it about that height then. And there we go. And that way that just goes all the way into the wall. I could just duplicate this and move this to the other side as well. Oh, that's interesting. Let's not have floating posts in the middle of nowhere. Gotta kind of have something. Yeah, but it's also fun physically own your own favorite movies. Also the same trend with games with Game Pass and all. True, yeah, and again, I understand that, like, I feel like a lot of people are liking it, so it's not, I think there are a good majority of people that are just, it's like they almost don't know what's better for them. They rather have more for cheaper, and that's cool, and that ends up, I think, for everybody in the long run, just kind of like working out, I do think it gives you less ownership over the things that you have, and it doesn't allow you to, I guess, enjoy it as much as like kind of like a collector. I feel like it hurts the collectors more than anything. It's like I really like collecting films, and that's just like something that I like to do, but you don't get that anymore, so at least there's less of it. I think this will actually be good if I do this. Firstly, going to make these like different distances from each other, just so I can annoy with a lot of your guys' ADHD. Not that you're going to see this because it's so far away, but we'll know. Like, I feel like half of this is always just for us. Like, no one's going to see this. But for us that are here on the stream today, we'll know it's there. It's like adding that guy into the poster image that we did a couple weeks ago. No one will know it's there, but we do. It's really nice. I would just duplicate this to the other side. It can be the same. No one will see it. And then, you know what, guys? Maybe we take this into Unreal Engine and pipe it into a game. And then we can see all the mistakes that I've made because I've been only making it so it looks correct from one camera angle. Let's go ahead and save that. I got our fence finished. We're going to get into some windows here momentarily. I have to run to the restroom, so I'll be right back. But while I'm gone, hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button because do it, you know? Like, why not, right? It's free. Did you miss me? I'm back. Okay. Let's see. All right. So we left off with the fence, and now I'm thinking that we can add in some windows here. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, you know, we also have. Let's just take this whole fence that we created. We can just duplicate it. That's why I'm glad we went all the way around on this. Let's go upwards with it. We kind of don't want it to be open though, because like obviously so we could just delete that one and stretch this guy over. other side. And now I can just duplicate some of these fence posts as we're going along. There we go. I think that works nice. Now we just add those windows in. We got those big old tall Victorian windows that we'll be adding in. I find the easiest kind of windows to add in, honestly. Because this is all you got to do. Just keep adding a little more edge loops. Oops. Here. The AC in the our machine room right now is beeping constantly because it's it always does with like warnings and stuff like that. So it's just doing that constantly right now. It's just beeping and I can hear it in the background as we're working. Let's see, let's do that, and then I'm gonna add in an edge loop here and an edge loop on the other side as well. We only need this for like the window to be cut into it. So let's do that, shade smooth it, and we're just gonna try to do that very edge piece here. And honestly, I mean, in a non-destructive workflow, let's add in a cube. And with this guy here, we'll just apply that. We're going to add in a Boolean and point it at the cube. Apply it. And now if we delete that, we're just going to have this cube that goes to there, which is awesome because we only want the window to be on that exact spot right there. Furthermore, I feel like it'd be nice to know that this is centered in some way. So let's say Shift S and do cursor to selected, or yeah, cursor to selected. And let's go to the front here and let's select this guy. I'm just going to line him up on the cursor. I also want, I'd like to make an array to move one over, but then also move it to the other direction as well without duplicating the first array. But instead, we're just going to do it this way. Are all windows the same size? No, they're not. And we'll turn on kind of like this proportional editing, and we can just move everything up. And that should be good. Cool. So now we can go ahead and just add in another Boolean and then point it at our new windows. Apply that, delete these, and now we got ourselves some nice tall Victorian windows on this house. And we can keep those deleted because we're not going to be using that exact same window design anymore. We're going to be doing a different window design for everything else. Cool thing is, now that we did that, oops, wow, I did that again. Turn Botanic back on. There we go. Let's go into edit mode here and Oh, that's unfortunate that it did that way. But we can select kind of like the outer circle on this because we're going to want to create a little lip on the outer edge of the window to create the frame that it's in. So let's go ahead and just select everything here. Best of our abilities. Duplicate it as its own separate object. And then we can actually even say P selection. So that way it's its own object completely. And now if we take this, we can extrude it outwards. Not by much, just a little bit. Extrude again. This time we're going to scale up. Oh, turn off proportional editing. And scale it outwards. Looks like we don't have everything selected. So just press fill because I guess I forgot to do that. Extrude, scale it upwards, scale it outwards. Oh, again, extrude Y, extrude, scale on the X just so that way we can get the same width as height, and just extrude again on our Y axis. If we select everything, we could just bevel it up a little bit, not by much. Also, it looks like I just screwed up everything, so bevel. Let's do it a little bit, and then no, we don't want it on vertices. What is wrong with the bevel thing? It's doing it like in the middle section there. Okay, fine. We will add in a modifier bevel. That's how we'll do it. This is not working either. How do you add bevels and modifiers? Just do a subdivide surface, I suppose. What is going on? I'm not going to pretend to understand what's going on here. If we just grab the outer edge of everything, maybe we could just bevel that one at a time, I suppose. Yeah, I think the normals are probably fricked on it. Yeah, exactly, normals. Well, we could set the viewport displaying settings here to view normals, so that way we can at least see what's going on. Diagnose the issue, face orientation. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the problem. I think what is red supposed to be inside, correct? So if we do a face selection, let's just select all the red faces here. We're just going to select everything that's red. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Oh my god. Oh my god. And if we select everything, we can actually then clean everything up. So now we got that all done. That's all the red. Oops, missed some down there. If you take everything now, we can go over here to mesh and then normals and then flip normals. And now it's going to be blue on the outside rather than red. Also apply scale. Yeah, I don't know that scale would be the issue, especially with bevels. Select all, don't need to specify. Select red and recalculate. Oh, really? Oh, just to select all and recalculate. Interesting. I kind of want to try that just to see what it does. Let's duplicate it. I'm going to move it over here. Select all, and then just go to mesh. And you said go select all, and then select red. You just hit recalculate. So is it under normals, I would imagine? And then recalculate outside. Oh, wow. That's helpful. So yeah, just selecting everything and then going to normals and then recalculate. Okay. Did not know you could do that. Is that a newer feature? It's probably been in for a bit now. It's just one of those things that I've always just done it a different way. Recalculate outside. Okay, now if we take everything and we bevel. Oh, so much better. Yeah. Yep, yeah. Okay, I don't want to view... I mean, I guess I don't mind viewing blue, although it's making my face very blue. I look like Violet from Willy Wonka, so let's not do that. It's not ideal, although, hey, it's not a bad look either. Let's go ahead and try to select the outside edge. It almost selects everything, so let's just go ahead and just select the few vertices. And if we just take that and then press P selection, I think I just missed a vertice, but that's fine. Because we can go here and then just fill. Go ahead and take that now, and we're just going to extrude it outwards. Extrude, scale, scale X, extrude Y, and that's going to go in. And I'm sure that the normals are all screwed up, but we don't even need to look. So let's just go to normals, recalculate outside. So now if we take everything and just bevel it, voila. Yeah, it works perfectly. Good tip, Vin. Good tip. Just going to duplicate that over here now. Now it's going to kind of create our frames for our windows, and then we can create the actual window itself on the inside, which actually, oh my god, do I keep doing that or what? Keep pressing 3 on my keypad because I'm trying to change the face selection mode, but I'm in object mode. So then what it does is it hides everything. As far as I know, it's like if you press 3, it goes to the third layout here. 1, 2, 3, 4. How do you select all? Like, is that 0? No. Used to be the tilde button on the top left of your keyboard would do that. It would go to like back to all layers again, because it used to be layer based, not collection based, and that's what the shortcut was for that. Go in here now, and I'm gonna try to select as many faces as I can here. Let's do it this way. We're just gonna select everything that's visible to us, and now let's deselect that, deselect these guys, and let's go ahead and delete faces and edges. Whoopsies. Can I do only faces? Yeah, that's fine. Go back to vertices again. This time we're just going to delete the vertices. Not that it matters too much. You're not going to see it. Oh, what am I doing here? I know why it's doing it. Not stupid. I need an easy way. I think the easiest way is this. If I create a new cube, we just move that to the inside here. This is just going to kind of be the... Oh no, because it's just going to create a new face, isn't it? No, it's not. I think it should be good. And now with that cube selected, I kind of move that down. If we select our big boy house here and we add in a Boolean and we select our cube now, just apply that. Should just be empty. Voila, we have empty windows. That was the smarter way to tackle this rather than doing what I was doing before. So don't do what I was doing before. Forget that part of it, okay? It's the problem with doing these things live, okay? Okay, awesome. Now we have kind of like this window form done. I'm going to add in a plane, and we can rotate this 90 degrees and move this backwards here. Probably about there. We're just going to scale it up first and scale it all the way to the edge there. And now we've got ourselves a window. Save. Okay, that's one window. Out of all the windows we have to do, that's just one. Oh my gosh. It's okay. We're in a groove. We're on the last bit here. I feel like we want to have a little more of like archy thingy here. I don't know what that's called. I don't know. I don't have a house, guys. Which means I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. The other half I do. I'm going to duplicate this and let's take this edge here. We just grab all of that and let's go to front view here. We're gonna just take everything and rotate it somewhere like that. And we're gonna select each piece of it. Just kind of do that. Perfect. And now let's grab this and we're just gonna make it very much the angle we want it to be. Rotate these in the right directions. So now we're gonna add another edge loop in here for both those sides, and then again, just gonna kind of smooth this thing out. And now a subdivide surface will do the trick because now we've got ourselves a nice corner. And we can take this and just duplicate it, Control MX, grab on the x-axis, and just move it all the way over here. For this side, let's go ahead and just grab that, bring it in. And that's fine. Go ahead and save that. I almost want to have one right here as well, so I'm going to take this. Move it about right there, I think is fine. And then if we just move it back, yeah, that'll go up just fine there. I don't know that we need it back here, although we can try it. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's almost like the other pieces kind of like fell off or something like that, you know? You don't know why. Perfect. Perfect. Go ahead and save that. Let's add in some of these other windows to our house. have the one window right there. That's mother's window. So I'm thinking we have all of the windows in the houses just kind of like off, like no light. But then in mother's window, that light is on, and then we see the silhouette of like Norman Bates in that window there. So let's go ahead and create the shape of this window. Just add in a cube. And this time, a little bit less of a curve. So I think that's nice. That should work fine for us. So let's grab this, that way it's not such a big window. Although in all honesty, it doesn't really matter how big the window is because again, we're putting glass in there. So let's do something like that. Boolean, boom, apply, delete. Let's keep this guy though, because we're going to need him for the other windows that we do. So for instance, the one down here, just going to move that straight down, and let's go ahead and add in a Boolean, and just go ahead and select that cube again. Boom. Oh, this is where you apply your transforms, and I think that should fix that issue, right? Right. I am not quite sure, so I think, yeah, that was the problem. There's a weird glitch with the Boolean. If you do it on the same exact line, that it like goes over that window twice, which is very strange that it does that, but that is the issue. So let's go ahead and take this cube that we have here, and let's rotate it on the z-axis 90 degrees. And if we move this over to the side of the house, we can add in some windows on the side. Just one. I always tend to add windows too close to each other on the corner, which doesn't make sense because, like, why would you have windows on the side of the house that are like literally right next to each other? So don't do that. I think that's good. So now we've got our last window in there, and I think that's all we need. Because we don't really have windows that we're adding into this section down here. Let's go ahead and save that. And let's create the window sills. I'm gonna kind of like alt select this. Yeah, that's just fine. Extrude that outwards, scale it up and outwards, and then of course extrude it inwards. And there you go, you got yourself a windowsill. So let's go ahead and do that on all of them. Extrude that outwards, extrude it and scale it X, and then extrude it back on the y-axis into the house. And finally, last window here, extrude it outwards on the x-axis this time, extrude it and scale it up, scale it out on the x just because the x needs a little more love, and then extrude that back into the house there. The Amityville house, to be honest, I haven't seen Amityville. Is that like is that a TV show though, right?
I feel like this looks like the Psycho house, right? Yeah. We're going for the right thing. Needs a lot more bushes, though, around it and all that stuff. So now let's go ahead and just add in a cube here, I think. You guys will notice this week I decided to make my life easier by keeping the house oriented on the x-axis and then having the camera in a different spot. That has made my life tremendously easier. We want to add in like do I have Blender Kit on this version? I don't. Does Blender Kit have a 4.0 version of their software? What are you looking for? Blender Kit, please? Do you have that? Where did I download Blender Kit in the first place? Is it? That's a free add-on. I'll have to figure out where I got it last time, because then I can add in my rocking chair that I'm definitely not going to waste my time modeling today. I suppose we needed one more window down here, didn't we? Oh well, we'll live. Let's add in like a drainage pipe. I think drainage pipes would be helpful to add in a little bit more detail to this house. Could do that by just adding in a cube. And if we grab this all the way, let's just have that do that. Just extrude it all the way to the back of the house as well. Whoops, I'm sorry. And drainage pipes are below the roof. Not a TV show, but the horror movie based on crimes of Ronald DeFeo. I've heard about it. I haven't seen it. Which is a bad look, I know, for a guy who makes horror films. But because I've heard of Amityville Horror, but I have not seen it. Let's be real here, though. There's a lot of like things that I haven't seen, and it's just the nature of like how much content there is to watch. I'm going to just select all facing up objects here. And we're going to just extrude it. Scale it in. But if we do it on... If we press Alt-S, I think that should work. Oh no. Is it Alt-S or Alt-Shift-S? Alt-S takes it straight down. I kind of want... Here's what we can do. Let's take these faces here and then... Is there an easy way of doing this? I just want everything to be scaled in. True, too much stuff out there. Yeah. How is there's got to be a way. I need to extrude. Oh, that's what I did wrong. 1 second. Let's try this again. We're gonna select all the facing upward faces, extrude it. But now, what? Okay, that's fine. And then press Alt S. Why is Alt S not working? Yeah, I'm trying to inset it. Oh, that's right. There's a freaking tool for that now, isn't there? How do you inset though? Is that bevel, loop, cup, knife, spin, edge slice, shrink factor? Oh, I just want to. I want to extrude it inwards on the upward faces while following everything. What the hell? You're not even gonna see from the top angle of the whole thing. I for inset. Oh my god, that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, I always press extrude and then just scale it inwards. That is a bad habit of mine. I for inset. Nice. Perfect. So now we take that and we can add in a subdivide surface. And let's go ahead and add some extra edge loops here to smooth out the corners on the inside corners. Not too much because I do like the curve. That's good for a drainage pipe. Oh, I guess we got to do that on these as well, don't we? Especially if we don't want to have any issues. That edge is fine. It's this that's a problem. Do the same for over here as well. Perfect. And the edges, of course, let's have it go all the way. Because we only have drainage pipes on the front of the house. Why would there be drainage pipes on the back of the house, you know? Don't need that. But let's create a drop like right about there. And if we just select the bottom face that we have, we can now just extrude that down to roughly there. And add in an edge loop, something like that should suffice. And an edge loop on the bottom as well. And I don't even know if drainage pipes are necessarily historically accurate. When did they start adding in drainage pipes to everything? Although this only takes place in the 60s, right? No, it takes place in like the 30s or 40s. Okay. Let's add in a few more details to these windows. Add in a cube, scale that down, scale that across. Just duplicate that for the last window. Just put that over there. And I'm thinking then we could start getting into some shading here. Because we create everything from scratch every single time we do these renders, it's unfortunate that we rush through the shading and lighting phase. It is kind of like my favorite aspect of creating these 3D models. So I wish we spent a little bit more time working on it. Now we have a front door with no door handle, because guess what? We don't see the door handle. We don't need the door handle, okay? I'm going to apply all transforms on these things. Because, for instance, on this, let's go to our botanic settings here. We're going to add in a scatter effect of kind of like weeds. Short, dandelions, swampy. Let's do a steppe. Let's change the scale slightly on this. A little big for my purview. And let's add another one. Let's do like, I do like swamp. There we go. And then that's going to really fill in kind of the grass on this section here. For this rocky area here, I kind of want to have something. Not quite sure what yet. Let's try dandelions first. Then we're going to have less of it. More than likely. We can also probably use... Let's go into weight paint mode on this. Just change our scaling of this. Let's do some like right there. Some right here. Like that. But only on the facing up sections. I don't want it on the sides. So let's just do that. Go back in object mode here, and then if we go to our density sections, we could select group for both. And that's only going to put it on specific sections, and then we're going to have the rocky kind of like material for the rest, which this is base soil, which is fine for right now. We'll go in and adjust all that stuff later. But you'll notice that we're getting some stuff come through the ground here. So let's go into weight paint. Let's use a subtraction. And let's just subtract this part. And that should be good. That way we don't have any problems. Save. And now for the ground up here. Overall, we kind of want this to be, let's look at what forest floor options do they have. Probably not. Let's look at grass. Anything like deady kind of thing. Looking for dead, dry, with leaves. Although you're not going to see the leaves, so we might as well just do dry. Click OK, let's add that. That's fine. Let's also add in some weeds, so we can add in another layer. And let's add in some dandelion. It's good. Cool. Save. We're not really adding anything into the ground here. I'll probably just go with like some kind of like stony ground material. At least I don't think we're going to add anything into the ground. No, not really. Let's go ahead and save. Save. We're gonna add some lights in though. Now that we've got that all finished, I think we're kind of done with the modeling aspect of things here. So we have quite a bit of shading to do. Yeah, we have a little bit of a different camera angle. I'm just kind of checking the house to see what kind of materials we'll need to get. Okay, I think that's good. All right, let's get add in some lights, and then that way we can see what we're doing. I'm gonna use mostly. Let's swap this picture here. I really like this light here, kind of backlit, kind of effect that's going on here. So if we go in, let's go to physical. Should have that here somewhere, right? What is create? Landscape. Interesting. Oh, atmosphere. Did they change the name of it? It used to be physical. It used to say the word physical, not atmosphere. That's gonna add us a sun in, and honestly, it's probably pretty close to the angle we want it at. I got cycles, GPU selected, so let's go ahead and turn that on and see what it looks like. It's the first time looking at this. Okay. It's in the right ballpark. Not exactly what we want quite yet, but we can fix that. So let's change the vertical of it, and then we may change the angle, like the horizon like angle as well. Ooh, that's a bit dark. Ooh, perfect. That's actually quite perfect, because we can add in our own lights to light up specific sections that we want. I'm going to want it quite a bit cooler. Overall, I like that though. The clouds, though, not quite a fan of. Let's change the scale of those. If we make those larger, what does that do with it? We might want to add in our own clouds. I usually find that just adding in my own clouds is more ideal. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to save, and then I'm going to add in my own clouds. I like to use a free pack that you can go get on Gumroad. I've been using it for the last few weeks, actually. So we're going to import OpenVDB, go to downloads, and by the way, cleaned up my downloads folder. And then let's open up the high altitude sample files that we have here. We only have one cloud, but we don't need much more than that when you are creating your background sky. The only time I would say that you really need more clouds is like if you're having your characters fly through the clouds or something like that. I'm sure that's when it's really important. But for us, I think this should work just fine. So we're just going to duplicate this, kind of rotate these around. Oh, that's right. I need to select my camera. And let's change the end distance to like 1,000. There we go. And we're just gonna keep duplicating these. Kind of fill up the entire sky here. I think that's pretty nice. I want to see what that's going to do with our light that we added in already. Make sure to save like 1 billion times when using volumetrics. Yeah, the density we can change right here for pretty much all of them. I don't think that's going to change it for only one. select this guy for instance. Yeah. It's changing the density on all of them. Oh, is this viewport display? Gotcha. Never mind. Viewport display is not the thing we need to change. It's the render settings here. So we have the velocity scale, clipping, step size. We can create a material for them. So if we go hit new, it's going to create a volume scatter material for us. See here. So we can change the density now under this setting. I am thinking the sun, it's just a little dark. So let's, overall, I kind of want it from where the clouds are at. So if we go to top view, we can see where the camera is at, and we can change the horizontal positioning of it to be more facing like at the camera. And then the other thing that we're going to want, if we go to the side view here, is again, we can kind of see the camera down here. We wanted a little more facing at the camera, as if everything is very much backlit. But let's just see how that does. Right now it's set to -89. Thinking if we do something like this, this is going to really brighten up the scene, but we can always color grade everything down afterwards. But that's going to make the clouds really nice. It's going to shine through the clouds quite nicely. And then yeah, with the color grade, I think we're going to make everything a lot darker. So, a few things we want to do here. Speaking of horror films, which ones are your favorites? Right now I'm on a big monster film kick, so I really like, you know, Alien, I like Wolfman, I like, there's a lot of classic, like kind of like horror films that I really appreciate. I also really like, you know, Psycho. Actually, I love Psycho. It's not a monster film, but, you know, I like twist endings. So, like, and the suspense that Alfred Hitchcock made in his films. Always a huge fan of that. Yeah, I'm kind of like I kind of like it all, you know? And that's a bad thing to say, but, or not a preferable thing to say, but I do like everything for like different reasons. Like Conjuring was probably like one of the first like proper horror films, because I didn't really watch horror all that much growing up. I did, but not really. Like my family wasn't super into it, but you know, and that's where it's like, you know, when I got to watch like Psycho and I got to watch like those movies, that was really cool for me. Also just like Alien, I love the suspense and gore from like Alien. That was like a really big, you know, I guess cornerstone section of like what I liked about filmmaking. See with the flag in there to see kind of like what the shading looks like afterwards. It's kind of like darken everything from the front, so that way it doesn't feel so infinite. And then of course, once we add in some fog, I think in like the whole foreground area, we're gonna get some pretty cool lighting that's happening from like these trees and stuff like that. It's pretty sweet. I would say let's make the sky a little bit darker. If we're gonna try to fake this creatively. Oh, that's like the atmosphere intensity. What are some of your favorite horror films that you've enjoyed? Point 2, let's increase the density as well. just like overall, just increasing the density. Working with clouds is difficult because it really slows everything down. That's why I haven't added the fog in yet, but we have to do all the shading first. So I'm going to turn off the clouds here momentarily once we get like the lighting in the right area, and then we can really start to focus on like that aspect of it. Let's go ahead and save there as well. I'm thinking that's fine. The sky being that color, I'm going to desaturate this in comp, so I'm not too concerned about that right now. I'm thinking kind of like a effect that we can do for the house itself. And again, we can get more into lighting once the shading is really there, but I will add this in since this is kind of important to the shading that we'll be doing. I'm going to add in an area light. Let's kind of just move that up here. And let's disable our clouds for right now, which we can actually go turn on viewport display and then just turn that off. That way it's not processing it at all. But let's take, where's that area light that I just added in? Or is that under clouds? Oops. Let's drag that over to lighting. And then actually, let's turn off all of this grass. That way we can actually see what we're doing and not freak everything out. So we're going to go to our botanic and then turn off the display of the grass. And it will render it, so I'm not concerned about that, because the render is turned on, so we don't have to turn that on later. Cloverfield. Oh yeah. I feel like that's like a very genre defining pick too, like as like found footage almost. Make sure to save as you're turning on your clouds and stuff. Scale it up. Let's turn the intensity up as well. Just kind of getting that like uplight effect on the house. We'll keep like this side darker here. Oh, wait, no. Let's actually do this from the opposite side, because this side's going to have the window on it, and we really want the window to be kind of focused on. So if we light from the right side here, we can kind of see all the detail of the house here. This is in darkness, and then this will be the only one with the window light on, and that'll really draw your attention to that. Balance is key. Later we'll be adding in fog, so make sure to make this light here, go to visibility, and then we're going to turn off volume scattering. That way it's not affecting our volume that we add later. Alright, I think that's going to be the correct lighting that we're going to go for there. I think that's really nice. Let's go ahead and add in some shaders as we're working on this, so that way the house has a little bit more detail and design to it. And then we'll add in a camera focus and all that stuff later. So for right now, let's turn off clouds. We already have, let's turn off botanic as well. We don't need that on. And let's start from the ground. We'll start from the bottom and go all the way to the top. So let's start with this guy down here. I can add a new material in, and we'll just call this straight up ground. And then we're gonna need a material for this as well. But for right now, oh yeah, and since I don't have Blender Kit, we're actually gonna have to download all our materials ourselves. So let's get moving on this, because it's gonna take a little bit of time. Yeah, it's fine. Chrome has been acting really goofy. They made an update that like really has like slowed me tremendously down. I actually swapped to a completely different browser recently because I was like, this is not, I can't deal with this anymore. Let me create a new folder. We'll call this new folder VFX material. This is where we're going to save all of our material assets that we'll be working with. So we'll grab that for ground. Let's grab kind of like the stairs. Ooh. Honestly, this Japanese kind of like design might actually be what we're going for here. Stone tiles also. I think I just grabbed slate driveway, right? What did I grab? VFX material, graystone path. So not this. Monastery floor. It's pretty sweet. Ooh, I actually like this rock wall kind of effect. Ah, let's do it. I like it. We'll do that for like the main stairs. And then now these pedestals. Probably something like this, as well as like the, yeah, let's do this. And then once that's downloaded, can we just extract all? 7-zip, extract here. Does it put all of them inside of the textures? It does. That's hilarious. That's not necessarily bad. Yeah, it's not necessarily bad. I'm going to do a vertical split here, and we will change this to a shader editor. So that way we can swap between everything that we need as we're going up. As our ground, I think, do I have Node Wrangler enabled on this computer? Something I'm going to need to have. So let's go here and we're going to enable Node Wrangler. Isn't there a lot of talk about how if you're on the ad block, it's slowing? Yeah, and I do have ad block. So I disabled ad block on my browser because I actually have YouTube Premium. So there's not really a reason for me to have ad block. It's not even for YouTube. I don't even use ad block for YouTube. I use it for like other websites with like their insane amount of ads that they have on those websites. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't get ads on my YouTube playback. So I don't get why, well, I get it. It's for everybody else that doesn't have YouTube Premium. But, yeah, to me, it's more of a nuisance, honestly. So is it Shift-T? No, it's Control-Shift-T. And let's see. We're going to go to our live stream. You graduated from Chrome and Windows long ago. What do you use, Linux? Or are you on Mac or something like that? I don't know how you could possibly do visual effects on Mac. Could not do that. So I think we selected this as our ground, all the graystone. So we'll select graystone and apply it to our principled BSDF. With that though, we're actually going to go into edit mode here and assign it specifically. Yeah, they have super shady ads. That's the biggest reason why I have ad block, because it just drives me crazy. And then now it's like I can't have ad block, so I swapped over to Brave on my computer, and so much better. So much better. Okay. Color management. We enabled color management on our project earlier today using Filmlight Linear. And that's a really important thing to note here. Every time we import shaders now, you can change the color space specifically here. It's going to have all of our shading. So if we import something that we know is like a specific like ASIS material or something like that, we can actually tag it here. For all of our stuff, it's actually probably going to be 1886 because that's what they probably gave it to us as. Our roughness, again, probably 1886. Non-color is the only thing that's going to be really annoying to work with. I also wish that there was a way for me to batch select things and change it all at the same time. But for right now, everything's probably just 1886 because that's what standard like materials are exported it as. At least the ones that are on Polyhaven, I've noticed. Oh, we crashed Blender. And that's how you crash Blender. By what? I wasn't even doing anything. I don't even know when the last time was that we saved, so let's just do recover, autosave. And it got it about a minute ago. But sometimes I have to cry to change versions of Blender or any software that's not on Flatpak or Snap. Yeah, okay, so that's my biggest problem with, I think, with using like a Linux grade software, is that depending on the kernels that you have on your specific version of your Linux, is whether or not softwares will be ported like within a timely manner. And what is going on? It does not like me changing the color management on these things. Am I doing something wrong? Not even in why is it crashing? Is it going to crash if I don't do anything? Although it doesn't have this one changed right now. I can't change normals. I also can't change displacement, I don't think. Well, fine. That's fine. I can live with myself. I'm going to create a couple new materials here. So we're going to have stairs. Let's do that. And then let's also create a new material for wall. New material, wall, stairs, ground. Great. For our stairs, let's go here. Just going to select this. Assign. Wall. We select this. Assign. We don't have to worry about the curb. Although I do find that interesting. Oh, it's the ground that's clipping through it. That is decently problematic. Great. That fixes my OCD. Okay, awesome. Now we've got all of our different materials that we have. Let's go ahead and select this first section here. We have wall, we have our stairs, and everything. So with our principled BSDF selected, let's go ahead and press Control-Shift-T. That's going to open up our Node Wrangler option here. Let's go to our live streaming folder that we have, today's date, and our VFX materials that we downloaded, all of our textures, and we are specifically doing wall, which I believe is this material right here. So we're doing rustic stone for our wall here. Let's just select everything and hit Principled BSDF. It's going to import everything, save, change it to 1886 for the color space. I'm going to do that for all of these. And if you have UDIM textures, I have a great tutorial on Action VFX's website, so go check that out on how to import UDIM materials for whatever 3D software you're using. What is going on? Why is Blender crashing? It doesn't like color management. Also, it's Blender 4, and so I'm sure it's unstable. Oh, it's going to freak out once I go into render view, isn't it? That's like strangely okay. Let's change that to generated. What is going on? What is going on? Unstable blender. This is gonna break my heart if let's use smart UV unwrap. It's on UV. Fantastic. What do you mean something's wrong with it? Yeah, something's wrong with it. It keeps crashing. Is it because... Yeah, every time it's trying to create a render preview of it, it crashes. This is making me sad, guys. Let's swap over to Eevee real quick. I'm really sad right now. Does this mean we're not going to be able to finish today? I'm really concerned that this isn't going to work. If I can't add shading to it, I can't. I can't finish. Let's see if I can open up in 3.4. It's probably going to yell at me. Yeah, it just straight up crashes. Oof. Okay, I'm going to delete everything, even the collection, inside of this version of Blender. Let's go in, we're going to append, and this is just me salvaging what I can right now, guys. Let's go to scripts, and then let's append a collection from this particular file here. And we're going to select why do I have a particle system? We're going to just append everything. Nope, that didn't work. Let's try one more thing. Rather than trying to append everything like that, let's go to our main scene collection here. Let's create a new collection. We're going to call this main. Let's grab all of this. We're just going to move it under main. Save it, close it. That's Blender 4 for you. Goodbye. Blender 3.4. The stable version that I've been using for like a year now, and it has never done this to me. Let's go to File, Append, Live Stream. Let's go to our last script here. We'll go into Collection, and all we have to do now is select Main, Append. No, guys! Oh! Okay, one more thing. Try one more thing. Open recent. We'll open up our script. FBX. Yeah, we'll just save the FBX to here. And now leave. It's a memory issue, but since the other color space work, it's possible that the problem is something else. It's something else other than like what? Because I've got 256 gigabytes of memory on this computer. I'm not quite sure it's a memory issue. Perfect. Okay, guys. It's not ideal, but it worked this way. Yes, it somewhat worked. We don't have the grass. We don't have our collections. We just have FBX files. So we can do a couple different things. I think what's best here, since this is having some issues, I'm gonna troubleshoot this and figure out what we can do with it. I don't know that it's best for me to do this on stream with you guys. So what do you guys say we pause this stream and we continue this tomorrow in the morning? I can do a stream like at 9 a.m. or something like that, or 9:30. I think 9:30 would be good. I could do a 9:30 stream if that works for everybody. There's something wrong with Blender right now. Although we are pretty close to being done. We just need to shade everything. 101% not a memory issue. Yeah, well, I don't know. It seemed to be something weird, and like honestly, you're right. Like last week, I did use Blender 4 last week. My only thought is that I wasn't using Botanic last week, and I wasn't using the physical lighting add-on last week, and it potentially could be something that has to do with that plus the color management change that I did. It's like they're maybe not playing well with each other. But yeah. Okay, so we can potentially continue that, or we can just start it out of the stream next week. I think tomorrow I'll come here to work early, and then we can get the stream going, and I can finish up what we started, and then we can hopefully get that done. So I will post in our Discord the stream link for tomorrow. Hope to see you guys there. I was also thinking of maybe doing like a midweek stream, like just like an hour stream or something like that, or a 2-hour stream. That is like a visual effects kind of shot that we can break down and do. So let me know what you guys think. Also, if you guys have any suggestions for images in the future, Discord link in the description. Ooh, I guess it's not F3, it's F4. Boom, that's the shortcut key right there, guys. But like, go ahead and join the Discord. Share your guys' work that you guys are working on. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And then hopefully one more time this week, if we can do like a cool visual effect shot. I'm thinking that would be fun. Everything from like doing all of the tracking to doing a final composite on the shot and everything like that. So maybe it could be a CG shot, maybe it could just be like some green screen work or set extension work, and I can show you a little bit behind the scenes on how to properly map out and work on some shots. So yes, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry we couldn't finish this render this week, but we'll do a part 2 tomorrow, and that'll be pretty awesome. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.